r/AskReddit with Reddit time. What's your favorite a man walks into a bar joke? A man walks into a bar and orders a whiskey. When the barman serves it up, he takes it out to the bench in front of the bar to drink it. As he's enjoying his drink, a nun walks by and glares at him sourly. "How can you pollute your soul with the devil's drink like that?" she asks. The man shrugs. "It's not the devil, it's just whiskey. But it's sinful and wicked. How do you know it's so bad, then? Have you ever tasted whiskey? Of course not. My sisters and Mother Superior told me how evil drink is. But how do they know? Have they ever had a drink?" They go back and forth like this for a while, before at last, the nun relents. "Well, I suppose that, if I were to try a sip of whiskey, I would better understand how it corrupts the soul. But it wouldn't do for any of my sisters to come by here and see me drinking. Could you order me one in a teacup?" The man agrees this is fair, and walks inside to the barman. "2 whiskeys, but put one in a teacup, please." The barman slams his hand down on the bar and shouts, "Is that damn nun here again?" A cowboy rode into town and stopped at a saloon for a drink. Unfortunately, the locals always had a habit of picking on strangers, which he was. When he finished his drink, he found his horse had been stolen. He went back into the bar, handily flipped his gun into the air, caught it above his head without even looking, and fired a shot into the ceiling. "Which one of you sidewinders stole my horse?" he yelled with surprising forcefulness. No one answered. "Alright, I'm gonna have another beer, and if my horse ain't back outside by the time I finish, I'm gonna do what I done in Texas. And I don't like to have to do what I done in Texas." Some of the locals shifted restlessly. The man, true to his word, had another beer, walked outside, and his horse has been returned to the post. He saddled up and started to ride out of town. The bartender wandered out of the bar and asked, "Say partner, before you go, what happened in Texas?" The cowboy turned back and said, "I had to walk home." An Irishman walks into a bar in New York City and orders 3 pints of beer. He drinks each one in turn and walks out. The next night he returns and again orders 3 pints of beer, and then again the next night. The bartender offers to serve them consecutively so they won't go flat, but the Irishman explains, "I'd rather see them all lined up before me. I left 2 brothers behind in Ireland, and since we used to meet at the pub every night and have a pint together, I feel closer to them when I come drink my pint and there too." This goes on for a year, and then one night, the Irishman fails to come in. The regulars are concerned and then saddened when he returns a few nights later and orders only 2 pints of beer. When the bartender serves him, he says, "I see you didn't order a beer for one of your brothers. My condolences on your loss. My brothers are still alive." The Irishman says, "I didn't order my own beer. My wife made me promise to give up drinking." A man walks into a bar with a bag and orders a drink. After a while, the bartender asks him what is in the bag. The man says nothing. "Don't worry about it." The night continues, and the bartender keeps asking, but the man keeps giving him the same answer. Towards the end of the night, the bartender offers the man a free beer if the man shows him what is in the bag. The man agrees. He reaches into the bag and pulls out a tiny piano and a tiny man that sits down and starts playing the piano. The bartender says, "Wow, that's amazing. Where did you find the guy?" The man looks up and says, "I have this magic lamp that grants me wishes, but the stupid thing is broken." The man then hands the bartender the lamp and says, "You can try it if you want." The bartender happily grabs the lamp and wishes for $1,000,000 and the room is suddenly filled with $1,000,000. "This thing is definitely broken," says the bartender. The man replies, "Tell me about it. Do you really think I wished for a 12-inch pianist?" Another one. A grizzled old sea captain walks into a bar. He has a peg leg, an eye patch, and a hook hand. The captain sits down and orders a drink. The bartender serves it and asks the captain a question. "If you don't mind, how did you get that peg leg? I were chasing the white whale, laddie. Dangerous business." "Well, how did you get the hook hand?" "Yeah, had me a swashbuckling accident." "Wow. Well, what about the eye patch?" "A seagull pooped in me eye." "What?" Asks the bartender. How did you lose your eye from seagull poop? Yeah, twir me first day with the hook. A blind man walks into a bar, then a table, then a chair. A priest, a Baptist and a rabbi walk into a bar and start getting sloshed. They decide that they need to test their faith to see which one is the best. They decide the ultimate challenge is to see if they can convert a bear. So the next day they all go out into the wood to try and meet up again at the bar that night. The priest comes in with a broken arm and scratches all over his body and smilingly says, I had to run around the bear and read him the entire Bible, but he saw the light, and he was converted. The Baptist is on crutches with 2 broken legs and a broken arm and his head all bandaged. He says, I had to wrestle that bear to the ground and baptize him in the stream, but he saw the light, and he was converted. Hallelujah. Then the rabbi gets wheeled in a full body cast. He says, yeah, no. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have started with circumcision. An Englishman, Scotsman, and Irishman walk into a bar and begin drinking. Soon they noticed a large glass vase of gold coins in the corner and asked the barman what was it there for. The barman told them, that is, there is a prize for anyone who can one drink a full bottle of tequila in 2 minutes. 2 go into that room over there with a lion inside and pull a thorn from the lion's foot. 3 finally go upstairs and make love to a 100-year-old woman. The prize money was too much for the men to pass over, so they agreed to try. The Englishman goes first, but after only half the tequila he collapses drunk. The Scotsman is next. He downs the tequila and staggers to the lion's room. The door is closed, and there is a massive scream, and soon afterwards he stumbles back out of the room with his hand bitten off. The Irishman drinks the tequila and stumbles towards the lion's room. The door is closed behind him, and almost immediately there are massive screams and shouts coming from behind the door, screams which last for nearly 10 minutes. There is banging up against the sides of the door and everything, and then silence. The Irishman emerges battered, bleeding and torn. Now he says, where is that lady with a thorn in her foot? An old blind cowboy wanders into an all-girl biker bar by mistake. He finds his way to a bar stool and orders a shot of Jack Daniels. After sitting there for a while, he yells to the bartender, hey, you wanna hear a blonde joke? The bar immediately falls absolutely silent. In a very deep husky voice, the woman next to him says, before you tell that joke, cowboy, I think it is only fair, given that you are blind, that you should know 5 things. The bartender is a blonde girl with a baseball bat. The bouncer is a blonde girl with a billy club. I'm a 6 foot tall, 175 pound blonde woman with a black belt in karate. The woman sitting next to me is blonde and a professional weightlifter. The lady to your right is blonde and a professional wrestler. Now, think about it seriously, cowboy. Do you still wanna tell that blonde joke? The blind cowboy thinks for a second, shakes his head and mutters, not if I'm gonna have to explain it 5 times. It's business as usual for a bartender, and one day as he is cleaning his bar, when an unusual customer walks in. The man is dressed in an expensive suit, has a beautiful supermodel hanging off each arm, and has a limo parked outside. Furthermore, the man has an orange for a head. The customer sits down at the bar and orders everyone a drink. He pays for it from a roll of hundreds and manages to get the attention of every woman in the joint, despite having an orange for a head. The bartender is not a man to pry, but he feels compelled to ask about this man's life. Excuse me, says the bartender, I can't help but notice that you're obviously fabulously wealthy and irresistible to women, but you have an orange for a head. How did that happen? So the man told his story. A while back, when I was penniless, I was walking along the beach and saw an old lamp, half buried in the sand. I picked it up and gave it a clean, and poof, out popped a genie. The genie explained that he had been trapped in that lamp for 200 years, and that he was so grateful to me for freeing him, that he would give me 3 wishes. For my first wish I asked for an unlimited fortune. The genie said it is done, and from then on, whenever I needed money, it was there. For my second wish I asked for the attention of all the most beautiful women in the world. The genie said it was done, and since then I have been able to get any woman I wanted. For my third wish, and this is the bit where I kinda fucked up, I asked for an orange for a head. Thanks for watching guys. Please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you would like to see next.